So we're gonna see how it goes. If it don't act right, it's gonna get chopped next month. Just plain and simple. But hello, hello, hello. If you are watching, let me know you're here. Let me know where you at. We already said New Jersey's in the house. I've seen Virginia in the house. Yeah, if you're here, let me know. I want to make sure we're talking and being engaged. I don't want this to be a time where it's just me talking to myself. I want to make sure that I'm here answering the questions that you guys have. And yes, there's a little lag. So if you're watching me on two platforms, pick one because there is going to be a little bit of a lag if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. It's just the system. But everybody's going to get the same information. I promise. Everybody's going to get the same information. And if you're watching this and you're not in our private Facebook community, go ahead and share the video. Tell a friend. I know one thing about entrepreneurs is entrepreneurs know other entrepreneurs. And our goal is to support as many entrepreneurs as possible. When we started this year, we had a goal. We said we wanted to support a certain number of amazing small entrepreneurs. And this year has been absolutely amazing. I could not have even fathomed how many amazing companies we were going to get the opportunity to work with. Some were just getting started and some were very established. I was like, look at me, look at us. We're doing the thing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I was already telling TikTok and Instagram earlier. The style for tonight is really just going to be a recap. The network. Oh, I didn't even see the network background still up here. Oh yeah, I was on a panel this week. I'll fix it. But shout out to the network. I was on a panel with them. It was last week. It was we on Monday. Lord, I can't even think. But yeah, I was on a panel last week with them. Had an amazing time. I actually got to connect with a few people from the network. So it was really cool just to get in front of other entrepreneurs, hearing their amazing stories. I actually got to, after the panel, I got to get connected with two of the people that were watching. They booked some calls with me, and it was so fun because they're in the tax profession. And if you don't know, I actually work with coaches over various different backgrounds. And so it was really cool to be able to talk to some tax professional coaches because it's just new stuff I'm always learning. And I got to talk to them about marketing and sales and systems. And I was like, yeah, we can definitely collaborate and work together. And it was just exciting. I'm sure some of you feel that way when you get, connected with a client. You're like, yeah, this is what I got in the game for. This is what I'm here for. So that was definitely exciting. Facebook, y'all better say hello. Let me know you're in the house. Facebook, Instagram. Oh, no, Instagram's right here. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Let me know you're in the house. But anyway, like I was saying before, because I'm looking at different comments and different screens, eventually I'll figure out where I want to look. But y'all know I'm talking to y'all. So again, the way we're going to be doing stuff from now on, because I think it'll help, is we're going to have a theme for the month. For the first few weeks, we'll talk about different parts of the theme. And in the last session of the month, we'll kind of do a recap because I do talk about a lot, especially this month. I realized looking back, I was like, I gave him a lot of information. We covered a lot of stuff. And I want to ensure that you guys get a chance to ask questions. I want to ensure that you guys have a chance to really dive into the meat of the topic. And also, if you're needing support, that I'm here and I'm available to support you. So if you've been watching our Monday Night Lives, you know we do Monday Night Live every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But if you weren't aware, this month we really focused on the idea of setting your business up for success, putting systems in place, having SOPs, having protocols, procedures, growing out your team, worrying about your customer service. And so tonight we're going to just kind of go over everything that we have discussed. If you have a question, drop it. I actually gotta do a little shout. My eyes are doing better, so I can actually read all the comments. So this is your chance to ask your questions because I can actually read all of the comments, and that don't happen all the time. I'm legally blind, y'all, and my eyesight fluctuates. But today, your girl can read. So ask your questions, ask away, because I definitely want to ensure that I give you your answers that you came for. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, like I said, we've been talking about systems. Now, the reason why we talked about systems is because a lot of you just kind of go through your year and then you run into your next year, and it may feel like you're constantly trying to catch up, right? You're constantly trying to problem solve. You're constantly trying to put out fires. What I would encourage you to do if you haven't started this process already is towards the end of the year, the end of the quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, start planning your next year. Start really, and I don't mean just thinking, I mean getting down to it, writing it down, having a meeting with your team, your mentor, your coaches, whomever. Start planning your year, because when you go into the year with clarity, with understanding, with a solid plan, you're more likely to be successful. Now, I get some of you are thinking, well, it's the holidays. Some people have come up to me recently and been like, yeah, after Thanksgiving, I'm going to do this. And after Thanksgiving, I'm like, you're gonna give yourself less than a month, really, because if you celebrating Thanksgiving, you're probably celebrating Christmas and you're probably celebrating New Year's. So really, you ain't gonna get about 30 days, and it's a lot to plan a whole year in 30 days. So I encourage you, if you haven't already done so already, start planning your year. Even if you don't have a team, if it's just you still need to know what you're gonna do, right? You still need to know what the plan is, and not just what the plan is, your goals are, but how you actually will be executing the things that you set up. So many people will start the year with these, like, I don't want to call them dreams, but these just things in the ether where they're like, okay, New Year's resolution, this year's the year I'm going to be a boss. I'm going to sell this amount. I'm going to get this many clients. And then they go into the year, January, they're hyped. They do something. Then February, they do a little something less. And then in March, they're like, man, why isn't this working out? Well, because there was no actual plan put in place for those big ideas, right? I don't even like calling them goals, because goals to me have a specific structure, have deadlines attached, right? And so if you're really setting goals, then like I said, then we'll call them goals. But most of y'all probably out here just having little dreams and aspirations. We don't want to do that, because you guys are experts and you're amazing. So with that being said, what can you be doing right now? What do you need to be thinking about? Well, I'll tell you this. Some of you, again, may be in the early stages of your business, but one thing I wish I would have in the beginning of my business, right, is treating my business like the business that I want in the future. Like, I knew that was coming, because I took my business in the stages when it was like a brand spanking new little baby. I was like, okay, well, it's just me, and this is what I'm going to do. And then as it grew, I was always, again, playing catch up and feeling overwhelmed, like we got to do something so that it's no longer a problem. But you guys are lucky. You're hearing this video now, right? You're watching me now. You have access to resources now. Don't sit here and say, well, in 2 years I'll do this. Put systems in place now. Put protocols in place now. I'm not saying that you can't grow with your systems. I'm not saying that you can't add to them later. You can't change your mind and adjust, but you need to have some type of structure to your business. Okay? You need to have some type of structure to your business now in order for you to truly get to where I know you guys are trying to go. So this month we talked about, one, understanding that you need to have a client-centered business, right? It can't just be about you. I get you want to make money and you want to do and you want to shine and you want to speak and you want to write a book and you want to do this and that. And I get it. But your business should really be centered around your client's experience. What do they get out of working with you? Of course, they need to invest in you and all that. We'll get there later. But what are they getting out of the experience? Anybody can throw together a business, right? Or quote unquote a business. But when you are really creating a client-centered business, it's different, because you're going into it, I call it in an ethical way, but in a way that says, you know what, I care about this demographic of people and their success, and I know that I possess something that can support them. Let me create something around them, a community, a product, a service that will help them get from where they are to where they want to be, right? That's what all coaches should be saying. And when we keep our client in the forefront of our mind and at the tip of our thinking every time we make a move, we're more likely to do things that are going to end with us being successful. So what does that look like? Well, we talked earlier this month about the idea of having very tailored solutions to our clients. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know I talk about a value ladder and how you need to have something at every price point. That's still true. However, especially when we talk about high ticket items, we need to make sure as coaches we are tailoring solutions to our audience, right? We're creating products and services in a way that our target audience can get them, enjoy them, and be successful utilizing them. I always use the example of one of my clients who wanted to work with single moms, but had this um, one a very time consuming offer, but also a very expensive offer. And the whole point of the offer was to give the mom more time because she was, a busy, but also very not financially um, a financially safe person, meaning that the mom didn't have disposable income. And we had to talk about this. I said, I get you created this, like this is where your heart is, if you want to help this demographic, but the rest of it ain't working. Like the math is not mathing because the people you're trying to support can't afford what you have. Right? They can't. You already said like these are their issues. They can't, afford the extracurriculars. They're working 2 and 3 jobs to support their kid, but they want more time with their kid. And that's the whole point of them working with you is to figure out a way to get that. But they can't afford it. And so we had to say, instead of tailoring these solutions to the single mom, how about tailoring the solutions to organizations that have the bandwidth and the money to All right, we're back. Sorry, I don't know. I think maybe I have too many. I was telling TikTok and Instagram, maybe there's just too many devices and I need to get a stronger network because it's knocking people out of the stream. All right. But we were talking, okay, so I just want to make sure we're back on track here. So, yeah, so just make sure that your offers are really created and accessible to the people that you want. And that their journey is going to be a positive experience because we know how easy it is for someone to say, oh my gosh, I hated working, with such and such, or I didn't get what I thought, or I didn't feel seen, I didn't feel heard. It's real easy for somebody to say something negative, and you don't want that to be out about your business. So just make sure, like I said, that you're keeping your target audience, the people you want to support, at the forefront of your mind. Now, with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what we need to do as business owners to have that experience for our clients, right? We need to have great communication. That's a big thing. A lot of small businesses struggle with communication systems because you think, well, I can't afford it, right? You want to be a coach, cool. You're good at coaching, great. But you don't have a brick and mortar. So you say, well, I can do it virtual, but you don't want to invest in Zoom. So you're getting that 40. Do they even still do 40 minutes free? They might. I don't know. I've had the paid version of Zoom for so long. But yeah, you got the free version of Zoom. You're still messing. You don't want to get a scheduling system to help because you're like, I don't want to pay. I'm just going to put people on my calendar manually, right? You're doing all this, and that really lessens the professionalism that your clients and prospective clients are seeing is lowering your conversion rates because people don't think that you're serious and you're not a real business. And then on top of that, you're making it harder for yourself. You are now struggling to keep up and stay on top of the communication that you're trying to have with these clients. And so it's just important for you to think about that. How can you best communicate with your client? And we're talking about from cold through soul, not to soul, but through soul. So how are you communicating and get in front of your target audience? What system or protocol or plan or strategy do you have to communicate with individuals who might be great clients, potential clients for you? Once you get them to even know your business exists, what systems do you have in place to continue that dialogue, right? To get them to book a call or to buy a product or service. After that, what communication do you have to onboard them, to follow up with them? After that, what do you have to continue working with them and retain them? right? It's a full process from end to end. And but it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. The reason why it feels overwhelming is because you make it so complicated, but really it's basic. I need to communicate with my client. How do I communicate with them in all those steps? Right? In the beginning, it may be through running ads. It could be, right? It could be through podcasts. It could be through blogs. It could be through social media. It could be through radio. Heck, it could be through flyers. I talked to somebody this week and they said they was on flyer. I said, go ahead, boo. But yeah, however it is, right? It's not just verbal communication, it's communication, right? It could be through email, however you want to do it. Once they are interested in your brand, how do you keep that communication going? A lot of you are sitting on email lists and ain't email nobody in months. That's not great communication. If you had a system to support you there, you would know that you'd be having consistent emails going out. Some of you have social media where you post 2-3 times a month, and then maybe you go to the club one day and you post that, and you go to a barbecue another day, you post that, and that's all the posting you have. It's not branded. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't have any value. It's not creative. And that's not great communication, right? People are ready to do business with you, but then they can't find a link just to book a call. Make it easy for them. I don't want to have to go back and forth. I had somebody recently want to talk to me about supporting my business, right? They got something that they think I can utilize, and it sounded pretty decent. I said, okay, let's talk for real. Let's get on. Let's do a call. And then they was like, well, when do you have availability? I was like, nope, come on now. I sent my link. I was like, if you want to talk to me, go ahead and hop on my schedule. What I'm not about to do is go back and forth and figure out time zones and do all of that. Like that's not a part of my ministry. And so that's something you guys need to think about. How do you communicate to get them onboarded? Or not onboarded, but even to get a call. And then how does that call take place? I'm not against phone calls. Some of my clients really like a phone call. And so, yeah, people should be able to book to get on a phone call with you. If you want a Zoom, a Google Meet, or whatever, how do they book a call with you? Do they get reminders? Do you get reminders? Can they automatically put it on their calendar? Can you put it on your calendar? Can you send follow-up emails that are automated? What does that communication look like? After that, if they're ready to go, and is there a quick link for that so that they can read more about the product or service? Or do you have to type up every time what your offer is and do all explaining? Do you have to write up a contract every time? Hey, do you have a contract? Okay. And I'm not saying this to make anybody feel crazy. When I first started my business, contract where? Contract who? Because I didn't have one. So I definitely understand you not having a contract in the beginning because you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know anything about business when I first started, really. Right. I jumped in and hoped I made it. Right. It's like somebody who can't swim just jumping in the ocean. Luckily, I learned fast. But yeah. So again, what does that look like? Because contracts you as the CEO in your business, but it also protects the client so that they have a clear understanding of what to expect, what their requirements are, how to best communicate with you, how to, if they're unhappy, how to deal with that. And so again, it's all about communication. How do they get onboarded? Is there the next step email? Like, all these things are just basic things to think about. What is that process looking like? And how can we be client focused through that process? Right? How do we do our calls? Right? Some of you are doing coaching calls on the phone. Some of you are doing coaching calls through Skype, wherever. Do they have access to talk to you between calls? Do you have a WhatsApp, a Slack? Right? All this is just ensuring that the communication is there. If they're getting a course, how do they get access? Can they put in a support ticket if they have a question or issue? What happens if they need their password reset? Basic things, right? And so I don't want this to be complicated. I want you to just take a moment and say, how can I make sure, how can I ensure, I should say, that I'm going to be able to effectively communicate with a prospective client throughout their journey to doing business with me, through doing business with me. All right, those are the systems you put in place. Now, where SOPs come in is when you realize that eventually your business will grow. Yay, we all gonna be successful. Your business will grow. And if your business does indeed grow, and you have to employees or freelancers or whomever to support you, your SOPs are just literally a written down step by step of how you do what you already do. So as you put together your plan, right? Just say, okay, when I do my emails, you just start typing it up. When I do my emails, this is right. When I find new clients, this is what I do. When I run an ad, this is what I do. And that's just your beginning thing. And yes, you can get people to support you and make these things later. Yes, like I told you before, you can go on Google and look up SOPs, which are standard operating procedures for whatever business, but each company is going to be different because each company is going to do business differently. Each company has a different target audience, different resources, different size teams, different expertise. And so, again, the easiest way, communication, to realize where there are gaps and where you need systems or software in place. SOPs is just writing down what you do and passing it along, right? And as you get more team members, updating that so that it includes who's responsible for what, right? Who's responsible for what? Because now you got 2, 3 people doing something that maybe you did all by yourself when you wore all the bazillion hats of your company, right? Who's doing what? Who do they contact if they have you, right? All your problem solving. Some of you have been in people's DMs getting lead gen for forever. And then you go hire a VA and say, yeah, go out and get me clients. But then you do not hand them the scripts that you've been using. You don't hand them the common responses that you get, right? You just say, do it. And it's like, well, you've done all this groundwork. Give it to them so that you can have a better rate of success because you've already done the work. Okay. Some of you want people to help you sell products, but then you don't have an outline of the product. You don't give people the rates left for promotion. You don't tell people what's involved. I have to tell clients this all the time. They're like, can you market this? Tell me about that. What is that product? Who is it for? How does it work? Can I see it? Because you think people, like, I think sometimes we forget, and I'm going to say we because I'm definitely a person that does. We forget that our team can't read our minds. They can't read our minds. And so because they can't read our minds, even though it makes perfect sense to us, it doesn't make any kind of sense to them. That is clear enough for them to really understand. And so yes, you may have to give people a link and say, okay, I'm going to give you a link to go into my course and look at it. Right? Here's my outline. Here are my objectives. Here's the target audience. This is what they're going to get out of it. This works. Because once people understand, then yes, they can support you. So as your team builds, you need to just keep that in mind. Say, okay, if I didn't know nothing about this product, this service, whomever, what would I need to know so that I can effectively do my job? That is what you're going to be putting in that SOP and handing out. Again, we're going to stop making this hard and overwhelming and confusing. Where are our gaps? Where do we need support? And how can we fill those holes? Very simple. So I'm not going to talk too long tonight. I'm going to do about maybe 5 to more minutes. So if you do have a question, let me know. Do want to talk a little bit about, and I'm going to pull up my my affordable resource list because I want to talk about it. I did say I'm going to update it in 2024 because there's a lot more resources that have come out. And I say I'm going to open it, but I might not be able to because y'all, I'm using like all my bandwidth right now. But I'll start with CRM systems. So CRM systems are customer relationship management systems. They are how you can communicate with your target audience. My favorite 2 CRMs, and I've been saying it, I haven't found any more that I really like, are Dubsado and Honeybook. And obviously, guys, most of my audience are coaches and consultants. If you are not a coach or consultant, you're a small business owner and you just like watching me, cool, check them out. I definitely, one time I booked a studio to do and that person still used Honeybook. I've worked with a photographer that used Honeybook, a videographer who used Honeybook. So, check them out, see if it works for what you do. But I know specifically for coaches and consultants, both of those platforms are very great and they are very affordable. So that's something to think about. In a CRM, like I said, they're all different, but an overall umbrella kind of thing that they all do is allow you to email, schedule meetings, and track people's process within your company. So they can put in interest forms, right? And then they can move to the next stage where you are reaching back out to them and then setting up meetings and then sending proposals or invoices or contracts and then onboarding them or planning or what have you, and then getting them to actually being a client and doing business with you. CRMs are great. I can't believe, back in the day I didn't have one. But, again, you live and you learn. I would never go back to not having one. It's worth the investment. And I personally use HoneyBook. And I like it because it was, as somebody getting into CRM systems, it was great because it was very affordable. I think for the first like couple months, I only paid like 10 or something like that. It might even been less. Because HoneyBook kind of works on a sliding scale. You have to hit a certain amount of income with also have. And I will say, if you want to do HoneyBook, let me know because I have a link for that. Let's talk about e-course platforms where I try to still get into my my system to pull out my document. But yeah, so e-course platforms. A lot of you sell digital products or courses. If you don't have a lot of other products, I recommend Thinkific because it's very basic, easy to use. They have different tier systems. So if you want to have like some e-courses and maybe have like a group coaching program, you want to have a community, it's really great. It's really affordable. I think they changed it. They used to have a plan where you could get up to 3 courses for free. I think people got hit to it. And so now they have like a smaller plan, but it's still very super affordable. I just think it's probably not free anymore. Outside of that, I have had clients use Teachable. I'm not a super fan, but it's doable. If you're gonna do a Teachable, I would go ahead and do a Kajabi. Kajabi is great. I do have a link if you want a discount on your Kajabi. That is what my company now uses, and that runs you about $200 a month. But it's considered an all-in-one, which is really great because that allows you to do email, batch campaigns. It allows you to be able to sell digital products like courses and all put on webinars and events and now they even have a coaching product. And I just saw today in my email, not only do one-on-one coaching, they have a group coaching, and the group coaching now you can actually do like breakout sessions within your group. I'm like, wow, like a video session. I'm like, that's what's up. They also have communities. You can put your podcast in there. It is really great if you are an established business and you're just everything in one place. You can house your website there, unlimited landing pages. They have some AI tools. They actually said recently they came out with some new AI tools I haven't even been able to play with. So yeah, that's my favorite. All right, let me. This thing is fighting. Internet is just not. I'm gonna talk to my husband. Look, I wear a lot of hats in my family, but correcting the internet and the printer, not are not things that I can do well. All right, so those are CRMs and e-course. When it comes to calendar scheduling, I really like Calendly. I always say it wrong, but I like it. There are others, but what I find is they're the most affordable. What I will be honest and say is once upon a time, and I but I was working for her and she asked me to be on her Calendly team because I was doing sales calls and I did that and it jacked up my Calendly. So when we stopped working together, I shut myself down and then I tried to talk to customer service and customer service was horrible, absolutely horrendous. I was about in tears. My assistant was stressed. I was stressed. I was like, people can't schedule meetings with me. My links do not work. I can't get in my system. They were like, you don't own this no more. Like, what you mean? I don't own my like I've been with y'all for years. It was rough. But thankfully we got it resolved, but it got resolved. And I was able to access my stuff, but their customer service was trash. During the process of me realizing their customer service was, we did do a lot of research into other scheduling platforms, and I did not find one that was in the same rate of investment along with quality. So do with as you may. If some of you are looking for some emailing platforms, right? You want to send out emails. I'll say my favorite by itself, like emailing platform, is going to be GetResponse. I've had some clients recently really like go hard for Mailchimp. I think they've done better. things like ConvertKit, Flowdesk. I know I'm missing somebody. If you notice, I'm not a fan, but HubSpot, if you're techie, enjoy that. If you're just looking for places to sell, like not sell, like let people check out, Kartra is really good. Um, and also like Stripe, like some basic places. Like you don't have to much on those places. And some of those emailing platforms do other things. Like most of them have like free landing pages and they have templates and things like that. And some of them let you sell digital products as well. The thing about me is I like the biggest bang buck, so I am constantly purchasing products and software that do multiple things. Very seldom do I have something that does one thing. If you are but my favorite like payroll type thing right now is Gusto. I actually first started off on the I'm getting paid side. I worked for several clients and that's how they paid me. And then now as the CEO, we're using it as well, and they have some very affordable plans. So if you want to, first of all, cash apping the employees, but maybe you were doing PayPal or maybe you were paying through some other system, I do recommend Gusto. Like I said, it's very affordable, especially if you decide to keep your people as freelancers versus employees. But that's a whole shebang. Um, I'm trying to think of any other systems because my stuff is not coming up. My internet is acting crazy. Um, in the description of this video, there was a link, and I do encourage you to do that because it gives me a chance to really give you some specific support versus kind of these general conversations. But if you do that, I will happily send you the affordable list, whether you're in our group or not. If you're in our private Facebook group, you can go to the guide section and download that affordable list. It is right there for you. And definitely make sure you're on our email list because when 2024 rolls around, I will have the new updated resource list. And there you guys will get it first. The email and then our private Facebook community. And if you're a client, you already be getting stuff. So there you go. But all right, internet is so bad. We're gonna go ahead and end for tonight. Recapped the bulk of the essence of what we talked about this month. Definitely check back on our previous lives if you want to go deeper in one topic over another. And I'm excited. Every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next month, we're gonna have a good time because we're gonna talk more about systems, but also the idea of planning. Because I think that that's something that I really want to support you guys on is planning that year. So we'll talk more about your business plans. We're going to talk more about getting your team on board and things like that. So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned with us. And again, we doing good over here. Instagram and Facebook been live the whole time. So definitely, if you're not following me on TikTok and Instagram, do so. But also, again, if you're not in our private Facebook group, definitely join us.